the things about summer that I really like is that the pace of life slows down. You know, you and I live most of our days with the pedal to the metal. We run from work to shopping to meetings to picnics to sporting events to the club to church to the movies to mowing the lawn to this to that. One of the societal messages that we have well absorbed is that you've got to be doing, accomplishing, in action in order to feel worthwhile, successful, and needed. Therefore, we tend to live like perpetual motion machines. Jesus was a person of action too. Think about how much he packed into 3 short years of ministry. He was always on the road, healing, teaching, preaching. He put together, lived with, trained, and taught 12 disciples. He went to weddings, he dined out. He was much in demand on the party circuit. And he challenged his disciples and all who would follow him to emulate his way of life. He charged his disciples to go, hit the road, baptize, preach, heal. And preachers are forever challenging folk to put faith into action, aren't we? The call to go and to accomplish lies at the very core of the Christian faith. And Martha lived that call with gusto. She was a woman of action, a doer, a detail person, always on the go. If a neighbor was in need, Martha was there. She was always thinking about how to better and more efficiently do something, to provide some service. Her friends raved about her energy, praised her for her caring, and admired her perseverance. And on top of it all, she probably had the cleanest house in town. Now, I've got to believe there were times when Martha was just dead tired. When all she wanted to do was to sit back, kick back, and relax. But then that haunting, endless list of needs to be done jumped into her head, and she was up and off again. No matter how busy she kept herself, this nagging sense of meaninglessness haunted her. And self-pity crept in too, especially when all of her efforts weren't appreciated properly. Martha couldn't understand those who didn't share her need to be constantly on the go. And imagine Martha on the day of Jesus' visit. On his way to Jerusalem for the last time, he stops to visit these dear friends. Now, any visit by Jesus was special. This one, though, this had to have that added sense of importance. Martha wanted everything to be just right. And after dusting and polishing, she hit the kitchen with a frenzy. A cacophony of clanging pots and pans shouted, "Action!" A feast was under construction. After Jesus arrived, whenever there was a breath point, Martha would dart out to the porch to refill glasses and replenish chips and salsa. While busily scurrying, you didn't know they had salsa back then, did you? While she was running hither and yon, she could not notice that her dear, sweet sister appeared oblivious to everything that needed to be done. Mary just sat on the floor at Jesus' feet, hanging on his every word. Martha could feel blood pressure rising. That vein in her temple began to bulge. How could my sister be so inconsiderate? You'd think she'd have the decency to help. Some kind of sister she is here running like a chicken without a head, and she just sits there, and Jesus doesn't say a word either. Couldn't he cut me a break and give her a hint? The visit that had held such promise, such anticipation, quickly soured for Martha. Not even the mouth-watering aromas emanating from her kitchen brought any satisfaction. Martha had been so fixated on doing something extra special for Jesus, who was extra special for her, that she missed the opportunity of his visit. Martha was so into going and doing that she missed the chance to stop, listen, relax. The same cannot be said for Mary. When she heard that Jesus was coming to visit, her heart soared. As Martha began to mobilize the kitchen, Mary thought back to all of Jesus' previous visits, how important they had been. She remembered the joyful times that they had together, what peace that she had experienced just listening to the words come out of his mouth. Mary never failed to feel warm and loved when Jesus was around. It was memories of those visits that sustained her during many a difficult day along the way. When she wasn't quite feeling herself, when she was sad or depressed or feeling overwhelmed, when Martha's perpetual motion became almost unbearable, the anticipation of another evening at Jesus' feet was almost more than she could bear. And finally, her wait was over. She met Jesus at the door calling Martha as she led him to the porch, and Martha burst in with a tray of cool drinks in hand, then quickly went back to the kitchen explaining dinner hadn't needed her attention. And Jesus just settled in, began to talk, and Mary was instantly mesmerized. Sitting on the floor, she edged close so as not to miss a single word. Tingling excitement ran through her veins, and unable to speak, she just allowed Jesus' aura to flood her. Every fiber of her being crackled like the air around a bolt of lightning. Mary hardly noticed Martha's comings and goings into the room. She did, though, periodically feel Martha's not-so-kind glare on the back of her head. Well, glare shamers Mary. Mary could get up and leave where she was, then she could skip over a stone across the Sea of Galilee. She knew her sister meant well, that her heart was absolutely in the right place. And she knew that Martha could use help, but Jesus' visits were so few and far between that she simply could not tear herself away. If Martha would only stop and listen for a while, she'd realize that she didn't have to make such a huge fuss over dinner. A simple meal would have been absolutely okay. If she chilled out for a minute, slowed down, it would take only a few moments before Martha, too, was agreeing that this was right. There's always time to be physically fed. Always time to be doing things. There's much less time to stop and listen, to be fed by Jesus' presence. Well, Martha's dear pressure cooker steam release valve, a little thing finally stopped working. Lord, don't you give two hoots that Mary has left me to do all the work? For Pete's sakes, tell her to get up and help me. And instead of turning on Mary, Jesus turns to Martha. Martha, you're letting the minutia make you crazy. Slow down. You move too fast. Relax. There's no need for 9 courses. Mary knows what's important right now. And I'm not going to take that away from her. Jesus didn't want to hurt Martha. He loved her. His rebuke was gentle, but his words had to sting. Can you imagine how her feelings must have dropped to the floor as she turned and made her way back to the kitchen? It's all about balance and proportion. Slowing down and listening is what enables us to go and to do. For the Christian, action emanates from and is rejuvenated by devotion. It's very difficult to give others if we aren't receiving. The battery eventually runs dry. We can so easily get caught up in the doing, in the breakneck pace of lives that we fail to slow down and take time along the way. To sit at Jesus' feet, to be refilled and fed. Jesus knew all about unreasonable demands on time and attention. Jesus knew like nobody else how much there was to do, how many people were in desperate need. And so, he practiced what he preached. He'd go off by himself to pray, to open himself to the will of his Father. He'd find the time, carve out a niche, early, maybe before the others were awake, or late after they were asleep. Jesus knew that if he wasn't being nurtured and nourished, he would not be able to do what he needed to do. He would not be able to nourish and nurture others. You and I need to find that balance, to carve out times when we can forget about approaching deadlines, to leave the ironing undone, slow down for a moment, put our busy agendas on hold, and just listen, pray, read the Bible, reflect, ruminate, talk about faith stuff with others. I think it was Jackson Brown who wrote a song called Running on Empty. Without balance, without slow down and listen times, that's what we'll be. Running on empty. And when you're running on empty, sputtering, jerking, coughing, out of gas on the side of the road can't be far behind. And so instead of Jackson Brown, Paul Simon, slow down. You move too fast, you've got to make the morning last. Now I confess that I've always felt sorry for Martha. She's been pounded by preachers and sermons for 2,000 years. Come Monday, though, those same preachers are dialing the Marthas in their congregations when something has to get done. Truth. The church would never have survived the centuries without Marthas. And so today's slowdown is in no way a renunciation of Jesus' call to go and to do and to be out there in mission. It's about balance, proportion, about our goals in life. What do we really want? What has our attention, our energy, our commitment most of the time? What is it? Martha obsesses on her goal. She is so busy being gracious and polite that she has no time to simply be with Jesus. And we are also maybe too busy to be with Jesus. Does he in fact have our attention? Robert McAfee Brown wrote, all of us need to participate in both the life of contemplation and the life of actions. And to disdain either is to run the risk, on the one hand, pious irrelevance, and on the other hand, destructive burnout. Without that kind of balance, we lose sight of who we are and whose we are. Even the good things in life, family, community service, even good works, can begin to choke out God's life in us. Balance. Proportion. Like Mary, we need times to just sit at Jesus' feet, so that we then can follow where Jesus' feet walk. Slow down. Listen for your soul's sake, and so that you can then go and do for Jesus' sake. Amen. Amen. There's no doubt it is a tricky balance to keep, because our lives are so busy, and there are so many demands upon us. But we need to find those times. We need to find those places. We need to find those people who will let us slow down, and be quiet, and to listen. And we will, I guarantee you, discover that it makes all that busyness a whole lot more tolerable, and actually probably even more efficient along the way. So let's develop our Marys, not forgetting our Marthas or ignoring our Marthas, because we need those Marthas. But let's find that balance that makes us more whole in God's love. And remember, the God who created you and redeems you and sustains you walks with you every step of the way.